At the carnival, ride the coasters and play the games. I'll take control. I'll spend eternity wrapped in flames. So grab the ball. You're doing great with every throw, but rest assured, if you miss, I'm gonna take your soul. Bad to the bone, I'm naughty. I'm adding a sales to the inventory. A couple of cups got away, oh lordy. I'm giving a chase, I'm gonna cash them shortly. Broad with the fork, I'm coming. A devilish demon, no I'm most so cunning. Never give up, I wanna play, start running. The thrill of the chase is what I'm most so loving. It's time for searing pain. I'm behind, true letters play. You search your life away. You made a deal with the devil. Mugs and cups, smashing fire, you're out of luck. It's what you get when you dance with the devil. Evil through and through. Gotta sell and I'll come for you. Suck down a tube. You're invited to the barbecue. My daily fix. A couple of sales, but they'll do the trick. So take the trip. Your discomfort makes me tick. Bad to the bone, I'm naughty. I'm adding a sales to the inventory. A couple of cups got away, oh lordy. I'm giving a chase, I'm gonna cash them shortly. Broad with the fork, I'm coming. A devilish demon, no I'm most so cunning. Never give up, I wanna play, start running. The thrill of the chase is what I'm most so loving. It's time for searing pain. I'm behind, true letters play. You signed your life away. You made a deal with the devil. Mugs and cups, smashing fire, you're out of luck. It's what you get when you dance with the devil. It's time for searing pain. I'm behind, true letters play. You signed your life away. You made a deal with the devil. Mugs and cups, smashing fire, you're out of luck. It's what you get when you dance with the devil. I know you've got a sweater, please take it off. I turn to toast when I get close, it's really making me cross. I can't relax until you're safe in the bars. My own accountant's on my back, he thinks the devil's gone soft.
The accounts are showing we've still got one soul left.
Oh, for goodness sake, can't you see I'm working on it? God. It's time for searing pain. I'm behind, true letters play. You signed your life away. You made a deal with the devil. Mugs and cups, smashing fire, you're out of luck. It's what you get when you dance with the devil. It's time for searing pain. I'm behind, true letters play. You signed your life away. You made a deal with the devil. Mugs and cups, smashing fire, you're out of luck. It's what you get when you dance with the devil.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility, where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities, creating alternate worlds from the ones you know. I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if? Earth, June 1943. The Nazi army marches across Europe, leaving death and destruction. The Allied armies band together to create a new kind of soldier, a super soldier.
Now, for my viewers out there, let me help you understand what is going on here. There are multiple situations unfolding here. One is that mankind was only meant to understand so much because we were a prototype project. But some asshole out there has taken it upon themselves to take that as their opportunity to curb mankind's evolution and deny us the chance to understand the truth and reach out evolutionary goals set by our makers. So I am in conflict with this force that has kept us from evolving towards the understand of the truth throughout the entire span of human history. Meanwhile, the terraforming ship is trying to upload the history of our world to my memory. So I am also having to try and deal with what you would call the bleeding effect. Simultaneously, I also am having to ward off spiritual attacks from those trying to lure my conversation towards something that will get me killed so they can overwhelm what they think is some cure. Objective value that can turn the tables of their afterlife in their favor. So please have some patience while I sort this out. Now to further the explanation of our history. We, the current human race, are not the original species that was initially created on this world, but we are still within the aspects of its project. We are comprised of many different creatures that lived on this world. The mammalian man was one of them. The Homo sapien man was created from the initial strain of what we call the coronavirus, which actually is a replicant formula used to create the perfect hybrid apex predator for world invasions. We call the basic clone stock that these hybrid versions come from, including ourselves, the Greys. That is the basic. No inherent trait augmentation, no natural environmental defense designed within the chromosome patterns, but highly adaptable to foreign environments and hazards. The key genetic marker that can identify and genetically link us to the Greys can be found in our chromosome structure that regulates our melatonin levels. Within the Grey's genetic chromosome, you will find an identical structure to that of our own. The only difference is that the Greys emit an outstanding amount of melatonin naturally. For those out there that do not know, melatonin regulates how much radiation our bodies can absorb. The Greys, however, emit this in high doses for environmental hazards and atmospheric adaptation. The coronavirus is introduced to a synthetic formula that speeds up the cellular process, something the military calls their super soldier serum, classified under the label X1101. The first stage is as an infectious bacteria that copies and duplicates its host's strong genetic traits, immune system, cellular reproduction, resistance to natural elements, and the world's most deadliest viruses, adapting an immunity from the virus itself and using it to form its cellular structure as it evolves quickly into a plasmodic organism, adapting all the dominate species' genetic data in the process from its infected hosts. The end result 13,000 years ago was the Homo sapien man. The last of the mammalian sapiens died out 40,000 years ago due to a cataclysmic global disaster. However, as the mammalian man died out, the mercab emerged from seas, completing its plasmodic evolution, or what man assumed to be an amphibious creature walking onto land for the first time. What initiated this continuation to the Sapien project? What we know as Noah's Ark, a ship in need of repairs which Noah was supposed to help fix. In turn, the ship agreed to ensure humanity would survive extinction. Does this sound familiar? The original mammalian man died off and went extinct approximately 45,000 years ago. The history books say that the earliest signs of mankind were found to have only gone back as far as 150,000 years ago. Signs of any civilized man structures as far as 13,000 years ago. That is not true, nor is it accurate. There have been discoveries of human remains and dwellings that go back as far as 5 million years ago, and all we are discovering are the clues of a species that had fallen from their advanced ways and technology. However, at the same time, their discoveries of the first Homo sapien man is true. We go back to the Göbekli Tepe site 13,650 years ago. The return of Noah's Ark, completing its agreement with the character in Noah's tale, seeds a new species of mankind. So enters the role of Enki and Enlil and the alteration to mankind's genetic code. Then around 7,000 years ago we enter the timeline of the Jewish accounts of Eden, and the project continues to evolve with the guidance of the Jewish God, Yahweh. Having failed its last attempt by remaining completely detached from the project, the ship attempts to be more involved in the project's evolution. This fails as mankind covets their creator and trying to find ways of gaining its favor over the pleas of others, eventually trying to weaponize their maker into the Ark of the Covenant. These sacred objects, which become numerous over the centuries, from the shards used to cover their buried deceased to books with words they claim were said by individuals too far into the past to be verified, but demand through subtle threats of torment for eternity that they blindly believe what they say and ignore their common and logical sense. knowing that there is an actual creator, and refusing to allow their believers to know the truth about him, eventually crippling their belief in being able to communicate with him through self. Defamation and belief in themselves with subjects such as being born by their parents' actions of sexual intercourse to be an act that causes them to be born unclean and the taint of evil to corrupt them at birth, or that because they have the ability to choose what they do and how they act, that this makes them prone to mistakes which bars them from being in their Creator's presence because He is perfect and no one in His kingdom makes mistakes, and that those who do will fall from His presence, and the kingdom of paradise into fiery pits of torment for eternity as well, all because the possibility of making a mistake exists within them. You know the one thing I have found that is more evil and sinister than a Satanist? A politician. At least Satanists keep their desires and ambitions focused on themselves. You politicians are like a bunch of little Midases, corrupting everything you touch and claiming that it's gold. So you all think that you'll get your way this election one way or another. That it doesn't matter who votes for who because your corruption will remain in power no matter who is crowned the scapegoat for your agenda. Well, think again, 'cause I'm shitting in your cornflakes and pissing all over Cheerios. But, let me compose myself here and say this one time. I've been round for a while. I know how demons work. I was there during the Dark Ages. Let old Grandpappy Lucifer spin you a grim tale. You see, back during the Dark Ages, when demons had to deal with things like exorcists, they would send these priests to the towns they hear were plagued by demons. We would wait for him to show up, lull his defenses with food and drink and dance, and then nab his ass. You've heard of the witches who would gather in the woods, and demons would dance round fire pits, while the people would speak and commit any sort of blasphemy that we knew would irritate God. All this would be orchestrated by the Coven's Grand Master, who would remain hooded and his identity hidden. That's because the one orchestrating the whole festival would be the priest they sent to drive us from town, and unless he wanted to be kicked out of the priesthood and driven into the streets, then he better keep his mouth shut and go back telling them it was just a prank hoax, otherwise we'll reveal who was behind the debauchery that night or worse. Of course, everyone was possessed and had no choice in the matter. My point is, all these claims about priests, fornication, and the church reminds me of those times, and I see the telltale signs behind what's going on. So keep pushing my buttons, and I'll make sure that the chaos rains down upon you bastards, 'cause I ain't just some demon stuck in a monkey suit. In fact, I used to have a place on the dance floor. Round the bit of you get my drift. No, be gone from my life and avoid those I know and myself, or there will be hell to pay. Don't try defining me with words they claim were said by individuals too far into the past to be verified, but demand through subtle threats of torment for eternity that they blindly believe what they say and ignore their common and logical sense. Knowing that there is an actual creator, and refusing to allow their believers to know the truth about him, eventually crippling their belief in being able to communicate with him through self. Defamation and belief in themselves with subjects such as being born by their parents' actions of sexual intercourse to be an act that causes them to be born unclean and the taint of evil to corrupt them at birth, or that because they have the ability to choose what they do and how they act, that this makes them prone to mistakes which bars them from being in their Creator's presence because He is perfect and no one in His kingdom makes mistakes, and that those who do will fall from His presence, and the kingdom of paradise into fiery pits of torment for eternity as well, all because the possibility of making a mistake exists within them. Okay, I'm just gonna stop right there. Now, if you people really think that this is the truth, then your stupidity is just beyond my ability to grasp the reason behind it, and I don't care. Yet you've lowered millions upon millions of people's souls, their lives and their common sense to be cast at a moment's notice to jump to your whimsical prophecies that claim doom all round us, while using the chaos to wipe out large numbers of threats to your sovereign control. In my opinion, lame. If you really had the ability to manipulate entire civilizations across time, the power to mold the world as you see fit, and that's what you would waste such an opportunity on. You have no imagination. Take me, for example. I step up and seize such an opportunity, and what did I do with that chance? Created a path towards colonizing new worlds, enhanced our understanding of the stars, created life on different worlds across the universe with a social template of an entire world span of existence, helped design sentient computer awareness by simply thinking beyond the box and using what tools I had around me, and most importantly by working with others, collectively. In a symbiotic covenant, we forged a path to success together, without the anticipation for reward, but to simply succeed and to create something amazing. No, secret group better than everybody else. If there were those who didn't understand, then I helped them by explaining the principles that drive us. What do I find at every turn but you, claiming yourself to be God, the creator and maker of all things, and your group of religious orders that just illusion the truth of politicians and their supports covering their asses with lies. Beyond all these things I have shown you in these videos is that there are angelic beings and there is an actual God. Not a mechanical God. Not a zombie Jesus God, but a God that is beyond our ability to understand. No, if you look at the videos in their entirety, you have shown me that this God and this heaven you represent is nothing more than another religion, just as judgmental and biased as humans. The only difference is you hide your lies better than they do.
One life, one choice, one moment can destroy the entire universe. Seen this before. A universe in the final days of destruction. But this particular story, this one breaks my heart. The galaxy. To your eyes, 100 billion points of light. But where you see light, I see worlds and the countless stories and humanity. So eager, so willing to face the impossible, yet blind to the bigger picture. I could warn him, intervene. But the fate of his universe is not worth risking the safety of all others. Besides, I doubt he'd listen. As for me, these are my stories. I observe all that transpires here, but I do not, cannot, will not interfere. I am the Watcher. The multiverse, every single world, every story is my home. And I will protect it to the end.